Good morning, Hampton Roads. I'm Lisabelen Sanchez with Atlantic Sotheby's International Realty. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Michael Spencer, a longtime educator here in Hampton Roads and now the headmaster of the Hague High School in Norfolk. Good morning, Mr. Spencer. How are you?
Lisabelen, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here today. Mr. Spencer, how would you describe the unique Harkness approach to learning at the Hague High School?
Well, we've been in place now. This is our 5th year. And what we have designed and implemented is, I would describe it as a very innovative, cutting edge, very collaborative for the students, one that is rigorous. The Harkness method that you mentioned is a pedagogy. It's been around for a while. It was actually designed first around 1920 at Philip Exeter Academy in New Hampshire. And they had an endower of the school. His name was Edward Harkness. And he said he would fund the school if they could design a pedagogy that involved and engaged all students. And we've found that to be true even today with the Harkness method.
Wonderful. What inspired the decision to adopt the Harkness method, and how has it positively impacted student engagement?
Well, when we were looking to open a high school that would best meet the needs of children, we knew we wanted to have small numbers in a classroom, and the Harkness method supports that. We knew we wanted to have students engaged all the time, and being in a class of 12 or 14 around a table engaged in conversation, it's hard not to be engaged.
Right. No sleeping kids.
No sleeping kids. And so that's really what brought us into the Harkness. The other thing about Harkness, I mean, there are lots of educational approaches where children are involved in collaboration, but this particular one does it in a way where teacher can quantify what the student has done during the class and as part of that engagement.
Wonderful. In what ways does the Hague foster a sense of community, personalized learning through the Harkness model?
Well, one of the things we know about teenagers, in high school teenagers in this case, is being with a peer group that they can socialize with, connect with, talk with, is important to them. And so just from the very start, as they're expected to engage with other students, encourage other students to talk, to share their ideas, promotes a climate that is satisfying for kids. It gives them opportunities to socialize all the time. One of the things we know, Lisabelen, about our children, and I'll go back a little bit, since about 2007, depression in preteens and teenagers has been on the rise.
Yes.
And I think the research supports it, a big part of it is that our children have lost a lot of their opportunities to socialize with peer. A lot of different reasons. Scheduling is one. The media and electronics that they have access to, while are very beneficial in a lot of ways, they don't necessarily foster a lot of socialization.
Absolutely.
The pandemic hitting during that time certainly exacerbated that sense of isolation, which fosters anxiety and depression, a lot of other things. And so when we go into the Hague School and they're in those conversations, it is very much at the other end of the continuum. Kids are happy, they're talking, they're spending time doing projects, and so it's really high school as it should be.
That's wonderful to hear. Can you share a success story or a notable achievement that highlights the effectiveness of the Harkness method in your academic environment?
Sure. I can give a couple, if you'll allow me. First of all, with any business, this is a startup business, if you will, and we had a lot of evolution to make since 2018-19 when we started the school. But we always talk about is in a business, the first product sells itself.
Right.
And we've just been through doing that. We were very proud that last year we graduated from the school, the first graduating class.
Congratulations.
The end of the 4 years, thank you. We're very proud of them, a great group of kids. And they all got into the university or college that they wanted to get into. They represent universities, some of the best standing universities in the country, from Ivy League to science, design schools. Brown University comes to mind, UVA locally comes to mind. We had one student that decided to go overseas, and he's going to an architectural school in Denmark. And so they've gone to an array of places, which tells us that 4 years in the Harkness schools prepared them very well.
The Hague also offers the IB program as well, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you tell me what that also, what kind of privilege does that give the students?
The International Baccalaureate Program, or IB program, was developed back in the 60s, and it really was a diploma for students that had in their mind a future where they were moving to a different country than where they went to high school. And so it is a diploma that meets the high school graduation standards of about 157 countries around the world. But even more importantly than that, it's recognized now as by educators and college admissions personnel as being one of the most rigorous curricula that a student can be engaged with. And so we're using the Harkness pedagogy. We're using the IB curriculum that really kicks in at the junior, senior years to really give them what we think is an outstanding education, but one that is very rigorous and task-oriented. And it's proving out to be that they support one another so well. The Harkness, obviously, with the collaboration and being involved, where questions are more important than answers, really. IB really takes the same approach, and it talks about the essence of knowledge and learning, and uses curriculum as a vehicle to create lifelong learners. And so they support each other in such a nice way and complement each other.
Wonderful. I also understand that The Hague has 2 sister schools.
We do. We have 2 sister schools right now, both of them in Mexico, outside of Mexico City. And if I can speak to that just for a minute, the third prong to our school is to have students that feel like they're part of their community. And so a lot of what we do at the high school is have students involved in community projects. Could be around the environment, could be around the arts, it could be around the sciences like medical sciences. The school itself is physically in a place where we have within the immediate neighborhood in downtown Norfolk access to so many things like Eastern Virginia Medical School, Chrysler Museum, Chesapeake Bay Foundation. All of these things kids are involved with, and they get out and understand that our community has challenges and they can be part of the solution to it. Then in the larger picture, and I'll go back to the sister schools, we have 2 sister schools in Mexico. We have other schools that we visited last year, for example, in Denmark. We want them to understand the international scene, if you will, as part of their community. We want them to go and see different places, communicate with students from those countries, or whatever countries, we can find a situation so that they can see themselves being outside of their own little bubble. That if they decide to go to China, if they decide to go to Europe or Africa or wherever it is, that they have a place, they have a voice, that the voice they created in high school through the Harkness is one that can be applied to wherever they decide to go. And so I refer to it as we are a community high school and an international classroom.
Last question. In what ways does your school prepare students for the future challenges and opportunities through the skills developed via the Harkness method?
Well, I think it's interwoven in all the things we've talked about. What we know about the world moving forward is, one is our students that are in middle school, high school today are preparing for jobs that probably are not even invented at this point. The best example is the advent of artificial intelligence that we're all talking about right now is going to create a lot of jobs that we don't know what they're going to look like. What we're giving students is the opportunity to build critical skills of being able to collect data, being able to collaborate with other students, being able to do an analysis and come up with hypotheses and then defend those. They're the kind of soft skills that people will need moving into that job environment. The other thing we know moving forward, the researchers will tell us that students of today may have as many as 4 or 5 different professions within their lifetime. And so trying to teach them one set of facts and figures is not nearly as valuable as teaching them the ability to learn, be resilient, being flexible about their learning. And so those things are a big piece of what they're getting as they move off into the university and then the workplace. We're preparing them for the future. Quick to add that one of the pieces of feedback, anecdotal, but I think is important, as students come in there in the 9th grade, we have parents regularly come back in and will say to us, just in the first 9 weeks, my daughter or my son has changed dramatically, where they used to come home and go up in their room, close the door, and try to do their homework. They said they come home now and they're talking about their school day, they're talking about things they've done and learned. They want to engage us in discussions about world affairs and different things going on. The students themselves will come in and say, I can get up in front of a group now and talk ad lib in front of a group and talk about ideas and things that are going on that I never would have even thought of doing before I got here. And I've developed that level of confidence. And that level of confidence is exactly what creates good, strong university students. They're looking for students that have confidence in themselves, have the ability to work with others. They have the ability to take information and apply it to a variety of situations. And so all in all, they have an opportunity to put all that together as they move away from the high school level and into the university level.
Well, it makes it very clear of why the Hague is one of its kind here in Hampton Roads. If any of you are interested in the Hague, please give them a call and schedule your tour today. Thank you, Mr. Spencer, for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure, Lisabelen. Thank you.